प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एंड प्रेस द बेल आइकन ताकि मैं आपके लिए फिजिक्स के टॉपिक्स के ऊपर और अच्छी वीडियोस बना सकूं और आपकी गाइडेंस कर सकूं। Our next topic is the advantages of the dimension. Dimensions are basically used to check the homogeneity of any physical quantity. It means you have any relation of a physical quantity, the left hand side and the right hand side must be equal. For example, we have taken the relationship of the speed of sound, speed of a transverse waves, and the transverse wave are set up in the stress strings. So the relation is the left hand side we have the velocity is equal to under root T cross L over mt for the tension, L for the length and m for the mass. We have taken the left hand side the velocity, as we know about its formula, the rate of change of displacement with respect to time. The displacement has a base unit of a meter and the time has a base unit of a second, meter per second. And the dimension for meter per second is just you have to replace the meter with the L, capital L, and the T with the raised to the power -1. Likewise, we have taken the right hand side in which the under root 2 T cross L over m. So under root 2 is split into its power, and the tension is the kind of force which is ma, kilogram meter per second square, its base units. Just we have replaced these base units into its dimension. Likewise, the length and the mass. I don't replace the base units of that physical quantity which is in the under root. I just resolve it into their base units. Just simplify that and you get the answer. So in this equation we have concluded that left hand side and the right hand sides both are equal dimensionally. It means this equation is valid and it is dimensionally consistent. Now move on the second advantages of the dimension. The second advantage of the dimension is how we can derive the formula of any physical quantity. For example, the time period of the simple pendulum depends on the following factor: mass, length, angle, and the gravity. You can simply remember these variables by sketching its diagram in your mind. You can see that the angle through which the bob is displaced from its mean position, the length of the thread, mass of the bob, and the gravity which is acting on the bob. Now we just symbolize them with the direct relation on which the time period of the simple pendulum depends. By opening this constant, one point should be kept in your mind. The dimension does not tell you about any information regarding constants. Now we just give them alphabetic powers. Our main purpose in this method is used to find the unknown powers which are given on these physical quantities. Now by changing them into their dimension, you can see that we have a mass has a unit of kilogram and the dimension is m, length as the unit meter and the dimension is L, gravitational acceleration of course meter per second square and its dimension is lt minus 2. For angle we have a relation s is equal to r theta. You can learn this relation in detail in chapter number 5, that is the circular motion. Now theta is the angle, we have to find its dimension. So by taking these variables on the other sides, distance and the radius, distance has a unit meter and the radius has also unit meter. Meter has a dimension ln and simply L into L minus 1. By placing them in the next step, the L minus 1 are multiplicative inverse, so they cancel the effect of each other and give the identity. Now you can see that our remaining dimensions of the physical variables, physical quantities are given. So by comparing the powers from the both sides, we can find the values of the unknown powers of these physical quantities. Now you can see that the mass on this side is only here, so it has a power 1 just multiplied with the alphabetic power and compare the physical quantity on the left hand side. As you can see that there is a no dimension of the mass on the left hand side, so the answer is a is equal to 0. Now you can see that our next dimension is length. Length has a power 1. 1 just multiplied with the alphabet b, and length is also here and has a power 1. 1 just multiplied with the d, so b plus d is equal to 0. As you can see that on the left hand side there is a no dimension of a length, so our equation is b plus d is equal to 0. Our third dimension is time. As you can see that there is a no time in our first two physical quantity, in first two dimensions of the physical quantity. So we can see that the time is here. You can see that time has a power -2, so just -2 is multiplied with its alphabetic power -2d. So by comparing with the dimension on the left hand side, there is a time and has a power 1, so we compare it. So you can see that d remains here, and by simplifying it you can get the result and get the value of power d. D is equal to -1 by 2. By simply put this value in this equation and you can find the value of b. Using these values, a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1 by 2 and d is equal to -1 by 2 in equation 1, and you can get the results. So by replacing the dimension with their physical variables, you can simplify them and get the relevant result. So you can see that how we can determine the physical how we can derive the formula of physical quantity using the dimension analysis.